What is your perception of karma?
It's difficult to break the pattern of your habit.
It's so important for us to manage our emotions.
What's the connection between loving yourself and karma? Hi, I'm Aarti Thukral Karan, and then we have with us today Anu Kulkarni. And we are in our Love Yourself series, episode 3. So, Anu, straight away to the question, why is it important to control our emotions?
I'd like to ask you another question, Aarti. What is your perception of karma?
Karma for me is whatever you think, you speak, and you act upon. That is something that forms karma.
How does it form karma?
So if you are thinking good, it forms good karma. If you think bad, it forms bad karma. That's my perception.
So, what is the repercussion of a good emotion or a good action or reaction in terms of karma? Have you ever thought of, like, if I yell at my child today, I'm creating karma? Do you feel that?
Yeah, I do.
But would you then still react the way you did if you had that thought at the back of your mind?
It's also something like habit. It's
So,
difficult to break the pattern of your habit.
yeah. So, again, that's again not being in awareness of your emotion,
Yes,
right?
I can
So,
say
what are
that.
you doing? You are actually creating karma moment to moment
Yes,
with every
you can say
action
that.
and reaction. So, that is why it's so important for us to manage our emotions. Because
Wow, it's
emotions
really beautiful.
create because emotions create karma. How you
Yes,
react
right.
to any situation is an action and a reaction. Reaction is again emotions. So everything that you do is an outcome that will create your future bank
Wow.
of action and reaction. So the
Yes.
idea is to be in this awareness before you act.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are acting, you're not thinking about all this. It's not in your radar of thought process. But the minute you think, I better be careful how I react. If you start your day in gratitude and thank the universe for another good day of opportunities, and then tell yourself, okay, I should know how to be mindful of how I react, because I'm creating my own destiny. I'm creating my own karma. So what is karma? Karma is only what you do. You have to also experience that same thing at some point of time. It's not about the when. You will have to atone for whatever you have done. So, karma is just a completion of your action and reaction. And the
Right.
beauty about this is, why is loving yourself so important in all this?
Yeah, actually, what's the connection between loving yourself and karma? I mean, I didn't even understand why did you ask me about the karma thing, but yes, please.
Yeah, because you only transcend the karmic effects through love.
Really?
Yes.
You
Every
can
relation.
transcend that karmic effects through love.
Yes. Because why are you keeping on coming back with certain people in your life, be it your mother, your brother, your sister, whatever? You are actually coming back to experience that what you created with the person, so that you also experience it. And the only way to finish that, like, you always say, next life, I don't want to have this person in my life. I don't want a mother like this, or I don't want a husband like this, or I don't want a child like this. Don't you always say that I don't want this in my next life? How do you not want that thing if you're going to keep on creating the bondage through action and reaction? The only way you transcend it is through love, unconditional love, where you go through the trauma or the drama that you're going through that person without reacting, and then adding the sugar of love, which will
Wow.
dissolve that animosity, conflict, drama into,
Aggression,
everything will
violence.
go away. It will go into acceptance and love
That's really beautiful.
from your side. Now whether the other person does it or not is the other person's journey. So you don't say that, oh, I've done it but the other person is not going to change. It's never about the other person, as I keep telling you. It's about you. If you want to transcend that relationship, then you got to set a good example by being the person who gives unconditional love. When you give unconditional love, automatically the other person will also transcend and raise its vibration in that love because it feels that energy.
So, like we had discussed in the previous episode, that when you love yourself, you love the God inside you. And that's when you start loving everybody like your own self. And with the love that you experience for yourself, that love percolates to the other person, and the karmic debt that you owned with that person for your previous lifetime or something ends in this life.
It dissolves.
It
You don't say
dissolves.
it ends, but the quality of that relationship will start getting better. Maybe you will then want to come back together to truly enjoy that relationship. If you see there are certain relationships which are so beautiful, so it's not necessary that you want to end it, but you definitely want to change the equation by making it better.
That's beautifully said. Very, very beautifully expressed.
Thank you. That's the idea.
Break. We come across so many youth today who are facing so many issues with their relationships. And don't you think, even if one partner does a lot of love yourself, and if the other partner is not practicing that, what is the first partner who's actually loving yourself but still in the rut come out of?
Yeah, I mean, nothing happens in a day or with one instance. It's a process that goes on continuously. And yes, if one person is working on themselves and the other is not, the nature of the relationship will keep evolving, it'll keep changing. Now, if the person has changed in a positive way and the other person appreciates it, then it can move in a particular way. If the other person does not appreciate it or it makes no difference and is hell bent on thinking that that person is the same and he's only pretending or she's just pretending to change, then that toxicity is going to keep coming back.
So, how do we deal with that?
It's depends on the youth or the person, whoever is going through this. What do they want to do? If their journey is to truly transcend, if one of them truly wants to move forward and not go into this vicious circle of toxicity, that person will keep on working on themselves because they are enjoying themselves. It's making them feel good. So when they feel good and somebody else is pulling them down, they know the difference, right? So they will continue to do what they're doing. This person can either continue to do what they're doing or look at it differently and also try to bring the relationship to a particular level. Sometimes when a relationship has to end, it's going to end. So sometimes also when this change happens, the karmic shifts also happen. So karma is not set in stone. If one person feels that, okay, I've done my bit and I cannot now do anything more, if the other person doesn't want to change, I don't want to be part of this relationship. Either the person will move, it could be not necessarily a relationship, it could be also a colleague, company, association, anything. The person then decides that, okay, I need to move on. Once the person decides to move on, trust me, the universe will give that person what it is vibrating at. So, if a person is excelling in their work, an opportunity will come to take them further because of their attitude, because of the
Mm-hmm.
energy change in them. So, also with relationship, it'll just so happen that the person who's changing and evolving just no longer feels the necessity to be in a toxic relationship and will choose to either move on to some other, maybe go to becoming a yogi or being a good, going abroad to get other opportunities, just to be away from the place, to be away from the person. An opportunity will come. We should take that person to another place. This person will not want to move. Whatever situations, then that's what we leave to the universe. That's the when your karmic balance is going to end, it will end. That we don't know the dynamics of it. But as long as you are on the path that you want to be on, whether it's to be continue to be toxic or continue to be positive, that's the journey you have to choose. You have the choice. The choices are always yours. You have the free will to choose who is it that you want to become. And that's why separations happen, divorces happen, colleagues leave companies, or people leave their company, go to another company, they move to different cities. That evolution is going to keep on evolving, right?
So, after listening to this, I feel I have seen a lot of women who have not changed their vibrations, moved to another relationship, and found the same pattern. That's one example. I have also seen other women who don't leave the toxic relationship, say because of their children or because of whatever reasons, and they continue to be in that toxic relationship, continuing thinking that one day either it'll change or they are finishing karma in this lifetime, whatever they must have had with their spouse from the previous lifetime. So, both the cases I have seen. And the third instance that you just spoke about is you have raised the vibration, and if it has to end, either it ends or the equation with the spouse changes completely. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
My understanding is correct, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
So, what about those women? Let's go to the example first that I gave. Women have not who have not worked on their vibrations. They've not worked on the vibrations, not brought it to the love consciousness, and they move to another. How is it that they attract the same kind of
They will always.
toxic
They will always. A
relationship
victim will
again?
always attract the same relationship. Always. So even if you see there's so many marriages, if you notice, they
How
the
does that happen actually?
because they've not got over what they have to learn. So they will always, if they don't learn it from this person, they'll go and they'll try to learn it from the next and the next and the next. But they have to change themselves to learn the lesson, which they don't understand.
And that happens with people who are
Lots of people.
hopping jobs as well.
Yes. I have, being a past life regressionist, I have seen people having the same life pattern. It could be 51 lifetimes, it could be 500 lifetimes. They have not learned their lessons. So the pattern will keep coming back to you till you learn your lesson, because it's all about your journey. If you haven't learned the lesson, you can get married 6 times to 6 different partners in this life, and you will still choose the same kind of husband because you have not changed. So that till you learn how to change, it is not going to happen. The movement will be in the same direction. Lifetime, not only in this life, but lifetime after lifetime. That's what we call a life pattern. And we know the severity of it when the client comes and talks to us. And then when we do a past life regression, the soul knows everything.
And you're trying to say that the life pattern and the karmic relationship could be changed with the love consciousness. One can transcend through love consciousness from the karmic debts also and from the life patterns also.
Well, life pattern is karmic only, no? It's all
Yeah,
karma. It's your
yeah,
life path.
it's actually so
It's
confusing.
no, it's the same thing. It's just that you're repeating the same story again and again and again. When you die, you go and you check your it's called your akashic records, which has a record of each and every thought, emotion, and feeling that you have had, which is the sum total of your your energy.
Each and every thought and emotion
Everything you are
for every
changing.
lifetime.
Yes, you are changing your karmic account every day.
You're changing your karmic account every day.
Yes, based on your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, every day. But we don't know that. We don't pay attention to that. But when you know that and see how important it is to know how important is your action and reaction, because you are creating your debit and credit account in
Day
your
in and day out,
every day, every
every minute,
moment.
every second.
In the now, you're constantly changing your life pattern. But we live mechanically. We come and we do things because it's too difficult to change. It's too difficult to think of all this, you know. So we keep on, it's easier to follow the pattern. But that pattern is coming because of your past baggage. It has to be broken at some point, and it will. It's a question of when the soul is ready. When the person is tired and really wants to shift, when it's ready to shift, the universe will give you the shifts. But you got to ask for the shift. And that only comes when you're ready to let go
Of
of the karma, of the karmic debt that you're constantly getting yourself. It's a web. You're constantly creating the same web again and again. Oh, this time when I come now, I'm going to make sure that I make peace with my husband. And it's easier said than done because you don't remember what you have planned. And then you come back and you have to deal with the same issues. And because these issues get deeper and deeper, because every lifetime you're just entrenching it more and more into your psyche. So eventually you have to make an effort to get out of it at some point. Then you make your choices how you want to get out of it. You also decided that, you may say, okay, I want to choose another partner. But then you get stuck in that also. And then genuinely you may find another partner who will help you through it. Now that's all karma. That's all like debts, who you have equations with and who you come to. There are some people who get married the second time and are so happy. So probably that's another karma that they had to spend time, they chose to spend time with the other person. Or whatever they had to do with this person, they did with the toxic relationship and now moved on to something else. It's all your choices. You make your choices. What I'm trying to say is that ultimately you make your choices. Choices are not made for you. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. There's a difference.
and how do we come to a point wherein our choices are right, everything goes right, everything goes our way?
There's no such ideal situation. Everyone has ups and downs. Everyone goes. So the process of moving in a particular positive direction is a gradual process, and it has to be a constant work on yourself.
So if you have worked on yourself, does it happen that life becomes smooth for you because your karma has changed?
If you raise your vibration, automatically the lower vibrations will not affect you. No, even if they're there, the lower vibrations will remain. They will not go. But your reaction to the lower vibration will keep changing. Now, supposing you're here, you're at the same level, so then there is a lot of conflicts, right? Then you get into that self-awareness. Then this doesn't affect, it will affect you, then it'll go up. It'll affect you, then it'll go up. Then you'll keep raising it to a point where this will not disturb you so much. So it's a gradual process. It's not going to happen overnight. It'll be, you'll go down, sometimes you'll go even below, you'll go into depression, and then you have to bring yourself up again. So the struggle, the high tide and the low tide is always going to be in your life. The question is the frequency of it. And as the frequency of getting affected with the lower becomes less and less, is only when the vibrations start going higher and higher. So positive and negative. That's it. It's a balancing of your positive negative. So when your positivity comes up, then the negativity will automatically not affect you that much till you become vulnerable again and then go for a dip. So you have to always be alert. That's the game of life. एक जो Messi is doing a goal and he's doing a goal and at some point he's not going to do the goals, na? So that low it will come in everybody's life. The idea is always to get the ball into the net, but not everyone can do it all the time. So it's a constant struggle. No, the footballer will he say, "Oh, I'm not going to play anymore because I didn't score a goal." He'll say, no, next time I'm going to do it. I'm going to get that one goal. I'm going to get the second goal. I'm going to get the third goal. So it's the same thing with life.
So, Anu, I have another question to you, and that is, if somebody does not understand emotions, does not understand anything about karma, how can that person bring karma to order or in a balanced state?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the first thing I would say in a relationship is, again, be aware that it is toxic, not going the way you want it to go, and learn to accept the other person rather than resist the other person, because who and what you resist will persist.
Mm-hmm.
It will continue, and that will keep on deepening the toxicity or the bad vibes in the relationship. The second thing, which is so important, and I think it's very, very effective because I've seen it, it works wonders, is forgive yourself. Yeah, it's very difficult to do that. Forgive yourself and ask the other person to forgive you, and tell the other person that you forgive the other person. Just do the forgiveness exercise. Forgive
How is
yourself.
that done? How do you how do you forgive yourself, and what do you forgive yourself for?
Doesn't matter. You don't have to know what it is that you have to forgive, because you don't know what wrong you have done to be wronged,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't know what you have done. So just bring in the energy of forgiveness into yourself. When you forgive, you are actually raising your, just do it, and you will see that in some time you will feel lighter. You will not feel that loaded, you will not feel that heaviness, because you don't know what you've done to create this situation. But when you are willing to forgive and forget, it'll happen automatically. So that forgiveness will release that attachment to the wrong action, which is still hanging in you in the balance.
Okay.
So when you start just forgiving yourself, I forgive myself. Because sometimes, if you see, there are lots of people, if you say love yourself and hug yourself, they can't. I've had clients who just couldn't. They said, I can't hug myself. And when they did, they just started crying. Because your subconscious mind knows what you have done, which is 90% of your personality. So it can't come to accepting love for itself, because actually, it's actually chosen to punish itself for all the actions that it has done. So it can't love itself. Then they start crying and they cry, and it's a very cathartic process. Some people just can't hug themselves. It's very difficult. So just love, just forgive yourself, forgive the person who you feel is wronging you, and ask that person to forgive you, because you are here for a reason. So unless you forgive and forget, you can't move forward.
Wow. Okay. It's quite a difficult to digest kind of a
Yes,
heavy
we
stuff.
we welcome questions from the audience, and comment and ask questions so that we can take this forward to help clear misunderstandings and misconceptions.
Yeah.
It's the best way forward. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Anu.
Thanks.
Thank you, viewers.